All right, Polygon MATIC is looking pretty bad, and I think it's something we need to address right now. So this is what we have. Looking at the daily chart for MATIC, it's pretty clear what we have going on here. We have this downward pressure that we've been experiencing since the 27th of December. We've got a high here, a low here, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and now we've broken into a lower low and are currently breaking below this support level of approximately 0.073, 0.072, that area right there. So we've got two things we need to look at here. First, let's zoom out and take a look at MATIC from a longer term point of view. We were down here around 0.5 in October. We had a nice run up all the way. Well, by the time we ended up in December, we were up double where we were in October and have since given back from a little over 1 down to roughly 0.7 right now. So we've given up many of the gains that we've gained, but if you want to look at it from a positive perspective, you're still up, what is 20, about 40% from where your lows were back here in October. So MATIC long term is still looking fine. It's not looking as good as some of the other coins like Avalanche, Avalanche and Solana have gone up 4, 5, 6 times from that run. MATIC didn't do that. It went up about 2 times. So it's giving back that we're all experiencing right now is a little bit more painful in MATIC than it is some of the other coins. But the fact of the matter is, and the fact of the matter remains, we are experiencing a downtrend across all of crypto. It's not just MATIC. ADA, downtrend, giving up, landing into support and breaking support. VET, downtrend, landing into support. Solana, downtrend, landing into support. Avalanche. I could keep going on and on down my list, and MATIC happens to be one of those as well. This is caused because of the Bitcoin fall that we've been experiencing since also January. After the ETFs were approved, we hit a high of 49,000 and have since tumbled down below 40,000. And if you remember any of my videos starting the middle of January, I made it very clear that I thought we were going to fall outside of this channel and start tagging 40,000 and eventually could land below 40,000. We would just have to see what the market did at that point. And it did over the last 2 or 3 days get below 40,000. We've not been able to rise up since. Now, we could do something like this in Bitcoin. Don't be fooled if we do, okay? We could do something like that. If we do rise up, I don't think we'll get above 42 or 43,000 before we end up going back down. I don't know where we're going to head next over the short term, that is the next few days or weeks. We could do what I just said, that is bounce up and kind of land back down. This level right here between 34 and 38,000 seems to be where we're going to be headed eventually as we rebase and reset, hopefully for higher highs later on this year. And if you zoom out on Bitcoin, that's not a bad thing. Look at what Bitcoin's been doing since November. If we landed here and rebased and reset for higher highs, that's perfectly fine and would be 100% healthy price action. We may not land into the 34, 38,000 level right now. It is a risk that we could, and this area is at risk that we will, but we might get a little bit of a bounce here and might even range in this area. But if I had to guess, all right, here, if I had to guess, we'll see 35,000 before we see 45,000. That's my guess. Kind of the way I would say it. And that's just going to continue to put pressure across all these altcoins, including MATIC. And if we do land at 35,000 in Bitcoin, we're going to more than likely land at this level for MATIC. That would be 0.06 to about 0.06 and a half. Trying to get this to work here, this level. Why do I say that? Well, here, look at the dates here. This is back in October to, Well, back in October, where we ranged in this constructive area, sat here for about a week or two as we base to go higher. Well, if we do Bitcoin, that's kind of about the same dates and the same range. Now, it did stay in this range longer, Bitcoin did, before it eventually broke out, but it's still kind of significant, the same area, the same areas back in the same date. So we were ranging here during those dates, and it would make sense if we're going to end up back in those levels for Bitcoin, it would be about the time and the area we were ranging here. And that's not that's not unbelievable for that to happen. Just because we're already at 0.7, for us to fall down to the 0.6 area does not seem out of the bounds of possibility. Now, if we do start bouncing in Bitcoin, we'll probably start bouncing in these altcoins and do something like that. We might even bounce up and start tagging this trend line again. Do not be surprised if that happens. Do not get ecstatic until we break above the trend line and stay. We have to break out of the trend line, recapture the next level of resistance higher, and stay. So at this point, as price stands now, we would have to break out of the trend line and get above 0.08 and stay for a bit. A wick up and back down, while it's helpful, it can be deceiving, all right? So as MATIC has spent this time making downward price action, a downtrend structure, it's going to have to spend some time to start making those higher highs and higher lows and create an uptrend structure, just like we saw over time here. And MATIC was one of the messier ones, but here's a low, here's a high, here's a higher low, here's a higher high, and on it went. That's what we've got to wait for, and that's just going to take time. It would be unhealthy, really, if we sat out here and started, well, I'm not even going to mention that because I don't think that's even natural for it to happen. I was going to say if we shoot up here in a day or two, that's going to be unhealthy. Well, of course it's unhealthy. I think it's almost impossible. It's taking us this long to fall. Any coin, any mature coin like MATIC is going to take some time to build that structure back up. And then once the structure is built back up, you might get a fantastic rise like that. But you see, that did not come off the lows. That came after it had built up, made a path up, rebased, and then had a nice run up. And so that's where we've got to wait. We've got to rebase, and hopefully we will see higher highs in 2024 across crypto, including MATIC. But until then, we've got to endure this downward pressure that we're struggling with across crypto. Your first sign of positive restructuring will be closing outside of this trend line. Until then, do not get any false hope that prices are going to move up until we get outside that trend line and rebase. All right, that might have sounded more negative than I wanted it to. I don't mean to make these videos to give us any negative impressions and make those that are excited about their particular crypto project to be upset about it. But we do have to look at reality across crypto right now, and we are in a severe downtrend for MATIC. That's just reality. Until we get out of this trend line, we still have downward pressure to deal with. All right, that's my update on MATIC. I also do updates on other coins, videos on other coins. Be sure to check those out, and I'll keep you updated as we progress. Take care and be careful out there.